Welcome to Talking Voiceovers with me, Gail Goslin. Today we've got a special surprise for you. We'll be chatting to Emeka Onunkwo. He's a casting director at the Nigerian Voice Bank and also founder of the VOAfrica 2021 conference that took place at the beginning of August this year. The idea is to open up the VO industry to the whole of Africa. So let's welcome Emeka Onunkwo. Thanks for joining us on Talking Voiceovers. It's an honor.
Same here.
Tell us your story. Where are you from and how did you become involved in the world of voiceovers?
Okay, my name is Chukwuemeka Onunkwo. I'm Nigerian. I was born in Lagos. Virtually lived all my life in Lagos. It's a beautiful city. How did I get into voiceover? Okay, I studied geology. I have always been science oriented. But after secondary school, I noticed that I was a very creative person and I loved advertising. I loved telling stories. So I knew that I was going to go into the entertainment industry. While I was in the university, I figured out that my passion is actually advertising. So when I got out of school, a couple of years ago, when I got out of school, I started dreaming to be a radio presenter, even though I loved advertising. So I went to the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria Training School, where I got basic training to be a radio presenter. And after that, I didn't get a gig to be an honor personality. I did try to go for some auditions. It didn't pull through, but I loved advertising. So what I was doing was I do copywriting, so I create copies, and I decided to take it to another level. I wrote a copy for Nigerian breweries for one of their brand Guinness, and then I wanted to sell this copy, this concept to them. And someone did advise that it would be better if I can do a demo of this copy and present it to them. That was about 11 years ago. Okay, so I had the perfect idea of the voice that I needed. It has to be an African with a baritone, slightly accented baritone voice, because the beer voice. The next challenge came. How do I find this voice? Of course, I don't have money. I just have ideas. I'm not known in the industry. I can't set up an audition. The way it runs down is you want to find a voice. You put out a call for audition and everybody has to come to the studio. You definitely go through a lot of wannabes who think they have great voices and be lucky to even find the voice. And that's if they'll take you serious, because you're not an organization. So I knew I had all those challenges and I thought to myself, wow, wouldn't it have been easier if there was a place on the internet where you could go to find Nigerian voices? And then I realized that there's no voice bank in Nigeria then. In fact, I didn't know that it's even called a voice bank. To be honest with you, I thought I was the first person who thought of the idea in the whole world. And I'm like, and then I met a friend of mine and I asked her, hey, I have this idea about voices and the internet, and can it be done? And he says, yeah, anything can be done as long as you have the money. Thank God for moms. And I went to my mom, have this idea. I need money, I need help. And she supported, and we got the website started. Now that's how Nigerian Voice Bank got started. It was because I had this idea to fix this advertising problem. Then I had to create a business model around the Nigerian Voice Bank, which was for people to get people on the platform, to subscribe on the platform, to get registered and all of that. But that's how the concept of the Nigerian Voice Bank started. And that's my introduction into the voiceover industry. If you ask me the first time I did a voiceover project, that would be in my church, advertising a youth program, because I am dramatic also. So I was in the drama department of my youth church growing up. And then everything creative comes from the drama unit. So that's the story. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story. Everybody has a different way of getting into voiceovers, but it seems that you got more into the casting of voiceovers than the actual voiceovers themselves. You had a problem,
yes.
And you found the solution.
Oh, yes. So one of the first voices on the bank was my voice, actually.
Well, of course.
Of course. Of course. So yeah, so that's how it all got started. I have the love for the voice. I wanted to be a radio presenter. I knew I could do it. But then in Nigeria, voiceover wasn't really a big deal per se. It was for a select few. And they were really amazing. But it was just a few people that was doing voiceover. And those people were like gods to an extent because they had this awesome, amazing voices. And there were just a few of them, actually. It wasn't a thing people were thinking. So it's easier to actually go do radio than do voiceover. Damn, that's like 12 years ago.
If you're enjoying this interview, be sure to give it a thumbs up. So you contributed to growing the voiceover industry in Nigeria with VoiceBank.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It actually was the first online voice casting site in Nigeria when it was created because it wasn't really a thing.
Exactly.
It wasn't really a thing.
And now, how many voices have you got on there?
We have over 1,000 voices.
Wow. And they do voicing for companies all around the world, not just in Nigeria.
Oh yeah, not all around the world, actually. So my concept has always been solve the voice problem in Nigeria, Africa. The clients comes from around the world. We've got clients from Australia, Sweden, Canada, South Africa, Lebanon, Indonesia. We've got clients from all over the world.
Yes.
But the talents that we provide for are Nigerian African talents, basically.
And only from Nigeria or from all over Africa?
We've got talents from Nigeria and Africa, but it's not really been opened up for Africa per se until recently. So we've got talents from Kenya, we've got talent from South Africa, we've got talent from Egypt on our platform. But like the name implies, Nigerian Voice Bank.
Yeah.
So it was originally created to cater for the Nigerian voiceover industry.
Yeah.
But as we grew, we got clients needing solutions for other African countries. Like I've been privileged because of the Nigerian Voice Bank. I've been privileged to work in Ivory Coast, work in Kenya, work in Zambia, work in Rwanda, work in Ghana, as in casting direct voiceover projects in those countries, even though it's still Nigerian Voice Bank.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you have projects that cuts across Africa. We're strong in localization. A South African project can't really run in Nigeria, even though with the same brand. So you have to localize in Nigeria. Then if you go to East Africa, you have to localize in East Africa, even though it is same brand. So because of that, that gave me opportunity to work on different territories and understand how the industry works.
So from there, I've got a few questions. First of all, explain for those who might not know, what does localize mean?
Oh, okay, interesting. So you're South African. The way you speak English is different from the way I speak English. Our English have been affected by our local accents. There's a way the East Africans sound. There's a way the South Africans sound. There's a way the West Africans sound. When you now go from country to country, you find differences in the tone of their voice. Say, for instance, let's use a brand. Coca-Cola wants to run a project, and Coca-Cola wants to run a project for the African market because Coca-Cola is taking all over Africa. But if they use a South African voice, they cannot connect to the East African market because the East African will not connect to the South African voice, and then they will miss the communication beats. So they want to use an East African voice to talk to an East African so that they can connect emotionally, so that they can connect with the brand message and achieve the aim of the copy originally. So what now happens is, because you want to run in East Africa and connect with the East African, you have to use the East African voice on the original project you ran in South Africa. Basically, this covers voice localization. So what happens is, we have to record an East African voice and sync it on the video, more like a dubbing, and that video becomes localized for the East African market. Originally, there's this concept that Africans look alike, especially Black Africans. So people just believe we look alike. So a lot of the ads that run in Africa are really not produced in Africa. South Africa is doing great. Some of those videos are shot in South Africa. Some are shot in the UK, in USA, in Indonesia, in different parts. What they do is they look for Black models because of the concept that Africans look alike. So they look for Black models. Now they create the video. That single video will run in the East African, will run in South Africa, run in East Africa, run in West Africa, wherever there is a Black population. What they now need is to localize the voices, use local voices, sync it on the video, and it becomes localized.
They should really be using the right actors for the right countries, but we're happy as voiceovers.
Now, localization can go beyond voice localization to an extent because sometimes you have local words, local slangs that are used.
Yes.
So in some copies, if you want to really especially hit the audience emotionally, connect with them, make them feel like it is them talking to themselves, you might want to tweak the words. For instance, if you say mobile in the UK, everybody understands that, okay, you're talking about your mobile phone. You could just shorten it to mobile. Hey, can I have your mobile?
Yeah.
People understand.
Yeah.
If you say, can I get your mobile in Nigeria? People won't understand.
Right.
But if you say, can I get your phone in Nigeria? People will understand.
Because they don't use the word mobile.
Yes. Now, let me use a perfect example. Nigerians, we eat pepper a lot, right? You will call it spice. You would say the food is spicy. If you say the food is spicy to a Nigerian, you won't connect.
Aha.
But if you say the food is peppery or pepperish, we understand. What we understand as spicy is pepper. There's a lot of pepper in the food. So if you're going to write a copy, or if you're going to localize a copy, you might be thinking about this little beats. If you want to go deep into localization, and sometimes it might now be a local slang that will help that copy sell better. So you might want to tweak the words a bit to localize it to the territory that you are targeting.
So that it really connects deeply with the people. Absolutely.
Exactly. That emotional connection that helps you persuade the audience.
So there's work for voiceover artists in every country, in every region of Africa and around the world. That's
absolutely
very positive.
Absolutely. What's now different is the margin of the work, how much work is available in that region, because to a large extent, it's directly proportional to the economy of that region.
So when you say you've been working on projects in Cote d'Ivoire and in Zambia and in Kenya, did you physically go there or were you directing remotely from your studio?
Zambia was remote because to find a connecting flight there, you'll have to go to Dubai.
Really?
Connect to Zambia. Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But Africa can be one continent, but we really can be very distant. So for Ivory Coast, for Kenya, for Ghana, they need personally to direct the sessions, which was an awesome experience. Before COVID, Ivory Coast had been back to back annually. We got projects in Ivory Coast annually. Ivory Coast is like the hub of Francophone Africa.
Right.
Like they call it Little Paris. It's an interesting country, amazing people, very hospitable country. Then Kenya is like the hub of East Africa. Even within Kenya, you kind of find voice talents from across East Africa. You find Ugandan voices living in Kenya. You find Ethiopian voices living in Kenya. You find Sudanese voices living in Kenya. So Kenya is like the hub of East Africa. So you have an East African project, like you have a Swahili project. You can just source the talent from Kenya. And Kenya is easy to access, easy to travel to, easy to get visa on arrival for those who don't have, for most Africans. It's quite open. it's easy to access. So that has been really helpful.
And there's some good studios there.
Good studios, interesting producers as well. Because there's a demand, the industry will have to grow. People will have to set up to meet that demand.
Okay, so that brings us to the Voice over Africa conference that you started this year in August. How did you come up with the idea, and what was it all about?
So VOAfrica. First, I want to thank everyone who made that conference happen. For me, it was like looking at a dream and see a dream happen. Now, earlier in this conversation, I talked to you about the fact that I've been able to travel across African countries and work on projects in Africa. Now, one thing that cuts across the different parts of Africa that I've worked in is the fact that there are amazing talents, great talents, and not just amazing talent, but ambitious talents. You have a lot of people who recognize they have a great voice, who want to use their voice for more. But you find out that in the technical aspect, there is a deficiency with those talents. Now, the fact that you have the skill doesn't mean you can use the skill perfectly. We're all growing. But one key thing about growth is accessing the right information, the right training. Now, I found out that we have that problem in Africa. We have great talents. Some of them are good to go. Some are passionate, have the voice, needs the training. Now, that's one problem I identified. The second problem I identified is that there are great, amazing talents in Africa, but we really don't have opportunities for those talents. Now, you hardly hear that a voice talent resident in Africa got cast in a global project. Even though from time to time you will see global projects with African themes. For instance, Lion King was kind of African themed, right?
Yeah, just a little.
But you really wouldn't. Yeah. For instance, Madagascar. Now, you really wouldn't find African talents in those productions, but you will find foreign talents trying to speak like Africans. For instance, if you watch Wakanda, now that's not in our own beats. Awesome project, fantastic project. No dish on the project. I'm just saying that you'll see the problem in 3D. You see a lot of people trying to speak from African accent.
Yeah.
But when you watch, you say, you can't identify any region of Africa that really talks like that. So there's just a stereotype of how the African voice sounds, which for me shouldn't be happening in the 21st century. That's happening because Africa is not in the map when it comes to voiceover. And we are not telling our stories. We're not putting out our work out there. So they're not seeing us. They don't know. So they just create what they think we sound like. And the fact is that their audience, because they don't know, so whatever you tell them is the African sound, is what they accept.
Yeah.
Because they don't know.
They don't know.
So it works. No loss. It works. So you find that projects that should come to Africans don't come to Africans because they can't access Africans. They don't know. In fact, in the course of planning VOAfrica, I got someone asking me, do you guys watch Disney in Africa? I've actually grew up watching animation projects. In fact, dreaming to be one of those characters. Someone's asked me, do you guys do voiceover in Africa? Even the concept of Africa in fact, Africa is like a concept to some people. Some think Africa is a country.
Yep.
So there's a lot of all this misconception about Africa. Beyond that, there's the lack of opportunity. There's the lack of the technical know-how of voiceover. So I thought to create a platform where African voice talents living anywhere in Africa can learn, network with other voice talents, and grow their voiceover business. The long run of the VOAfrica project is actually to be able to cast African voices in global projects and also help African projects go global.
Yes.
In Africa, there are amazing stories, but we really don't even know how to tell our stories. So you find out the West, sometimes they encounter some of our stories and find it exciting and create our stories for us and tell it the way they want to tell it.
Yeah.
And then I also found out that there's actually no voiceover platform that cuts across Africa. You find out that some regions, they don't even know, they do voiceover, but they don't even know voiceover is a thing. So these are the challenges I encountered, and that's because I've been able to work in some African territories. I also got to understand that there are challenges in the voiceover industry in Africa. But how we can start fixing these things is to identify them and start talking about them. Then we can even go into the solution part. So those are the reasons why the VOAfrica project was created.
Fantastic. So for the moment, it was a once-off at the beginning of August, but do you see it becoming a permanent platform where people can learn and share and talk and chat and listen to speakers?
Yes, it's going to grow. That's the first thing I would say. How it's going to grow exactly the ways it's going to grow. It's still farming. But the very first thing, yes, it's going to be a platform where talents can access great information about voiceover in Africa. How the platform will package its content, I may not have figured that out. But for now, what we did was in August, we had the conference, which got some great feedback. Some guys in East Africa were like, hey, we've been doing voiceover in the dark. Now we've seen that there is more to it. One key thing that I knew that we achieved was that people started appreciating their craft more. People started realizing that VO is big deal. People also started to see possibilities in what they're doing. People started to see reasons to up their skill. People learned. Some of the sessions were workshops and people learned a lot. That's the first phase. Subsequently, we will have webinars and core workshops. Like currently, we're planning a workshop on animation, which is very strategic. It's strategic because there's a need to open up other genres in the voiceover industry in Africa. If we do not, we will not be able to accommodate the talents in Africa. We will not be able to create opportunities for them. And if you don't create opportunities for them, then that's another problem on its own. And then we also find out that a lot of the talents in Africa wants to do animation. But the basic understanding of animation in Africa is to come and fake a character voice, like sound, hey, my name is Gosselin. That's what people think animation is. That's not it. There's not more. It. You get it? There's so much more. You can even be on an animation project with your normal voice. So there's a need to be consistent with the character. There's a lot more to animation than people understand. But there's a genuine desire. There's that dream to cast an animation project. And that dream is valid. That desire is valid. They just need to train. And when they train and they're able to knock those projects off, then fulfillment comes. So it actually even starts from wanting to do something, not necessarily even having the skill, wanting to do it, having a desire to do it, then go get the skill, and then you do it. So we're going to have periodic workshops. The VOAfrica project will be annual. One of the key things that I want to do with the VOAfrica project is to create a reference point for voiceover in Africa, that annually there is that event that as a voice talent you're looking forward to. There's a need for that. There's a need for that. There's a need to network. There's a need to learn get new information. There's a need to know where the job is or what's happening in the industry. Is AI knocking us off? Are robots taking over our jobs? What's happening? So there's a need to know, or is there a new area where everyone is going to? You need to get new training. What's happening in the industry? Oh, beyond all of that, there's a need to network and unwind. Interact with other voice talents. Grow your data bank of voice talents in your territory. There's a need for all of that.
Yeah.
And if you're going to actually build an industry, it's all of these things that helps build an industry. We really don't have a reference point for voiceover in Africa. So that's the first problem it will solve, that we all have that major voiceover events in Africa we look forward to annually, where we can all come together, relax. In 2022, we will introduce African Voiceover Awards, which is going to, the key concept of the VOAfrica Voiceover Awards is to actually award excellence. If you're motivating people to learn the craft and grow the craft, you want to also award their excellence in the craft.
So where can people find out about it?
VOAfrica.com is the platform where people can learn about the conference. The website hasn't been updated after the conference. We are currently creating an email list. So we're going to now have a weekly or monthly email for VOAfrica that goes out every month, talking about the voiceover industry, giving them the voiceover industry, and then talking about trainings and conferences. But for now, we'll be communicating with everyone who's joined the network already via emails. And then we'll update the website in a short while.
A lot of people here that I know of didn't hear about it beforehand, so they missed it. If you want next year before the conference, you must come back on the show and we'll advertise it some more. Make sure everybody gets it.
Sure.
Well, we'll make sure that people are excited by watching this show today, and they'll be ready for the next one.
Great. Within the next few days, there's going to be a link where you can request to be on our email list, so you can get information about VOAfrica, what's happening. But for now, VOAfrica.com.
Perfect. I'm sure you'll get lots of signups.
Great.
Amazing. You are so enthusiastic about VO in Africa and everything. This was such a cool conversation. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Whoa. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I actually was looking forward to talking with you today. I actually went on YouTube to see something. I thought, nice stuff you're doing. And hey, yeah, it's okay. It'll be awesome to open it up to Africa, not just South Africa.
Absolutely.
Get to bring other African voice talents on your program. It's interesting how we really don't know that things are happening in Africa, whereas things are happening. We're so distant from ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is the first episode with a not based in South Africa person, and we're going to be opening it up to the rest of Africa.
Awesome. That's a game for us.
Yeah, I think it'll be great for everyone. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emeka.
Great. Gail, thank you. Thank you for this. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. I'll be seeing you around.
We'll be talking.
Yeah.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
You don't want to miss any of the following Talking Voiceover episodes, so be sure to subscribe and hit that bell button.